Hello students, today we are going to study the introduction to the flip-flops. So let us understand what is a sequential circuit. Suppose we have a combinational circuit and that combinational circuit is having certain inputs and certain outputs. Now what happens? A feedback is provided, like some part of the outputs goes back to the inputs through some memory elements. So this effective circuit is referred to as a sequential circuit. So basically a sequential circuit will consist of a memory element. This is very important. And it will consist of a feedback. Now let us understand the concept of clock pulses. Now, as you can see, there is a sequential circuit in front of you, which is having certain input levels and some output levels. So always in a sequential circuit, you will see that it consists of certain clock pulses also. So this clock pulses is an additional input which is provided to a sequential circuit. And as you can see the waveform below, a clock pulse is basically a square wave. As you can see, it is high at some portion of time and low for some portion of time. So this is the manner in which the clock pulses are generated. Let us now see a few examples of the sequential circuits. The sequential circuits which we will be studying are flip-flops, registers, counters, etc. So registers and counters are basically applications which are built using basic building blocks, and these basic building blocks are referred to as the flip-flops. Like in the combinational circuits, we used basic logic gates to design the circuits. In sequential circuits, we will be using flip-flops to design the circuits. Now you can see the four basic types of flip-flops. These are SR type, JK type, D type and T type flip-flops. So we can see, like in the example of set reset type flip-flop, S and R are acting as inputs and Q and Q bar are the outputs. Q and Q bar are always the complements of one another. Similarly, JK type of flip-flop has two inputs J and K, and the outputs are Q and Q bar respectively. The D-type and toggle type flip-flops have single inputs. So the D input is there in D-type and T input is there in the toggle type flip-flop. Let us study the SR flip-flop in detail now. As you can see, the first diagram shows the SR flip-flop structure using the NAND gates. So we can see there are inputs S, R, CK represents the clock input, and Q and Q bar are the outputs. So we can clearly see that the output is going back towards the input, like Q is going back towards the input of the NAND gate. So this is providing a feedback in the circuit. Hence, this is acting as a sequential circuit. Now let us see how this SR flip-flop works and generates the outputs. Now, we have a truth table. As S and R are two inputs, we have four input combinations possible. So when S is 0 and R is 0, and we provide a clock signal to this circuit, then Q, that is the output, is given as previous stage. That means there is no change in the output. If Q was 0, it still remains 0. If Q was 1, it still remains 1. The second case is when S is 0, R is 1, then the output Q will be having a value of 0, that is reset. And if S is 1, R is 0, then the output would be 1, that is set. Just make a note, we are writing the values of Q in the truth table. Correspondingly, Q bar will be just the complement of Q. In the last case, when S and R are both equal to 1, this is a forbidden state and it is considered as a question mark in the truth table. This is because when S and R both are equal to 1, then Q and Q bar are not obtained as complements of each other, which is contradictory and has an error. So this state is not used in SR flip-flop. Next we come on to the JK flip-flop. As you can see from the diagram, JK flip-flop has inputs like J, K, which acts as the data, clock input, and Q and Q bar as outputs. We have shown two more inputs here which are preset and clear. These are important, like you can see in the IC, when we use the JK flip-flop IC, we have these pins available. So using the clear input, we can clear the output, making it 0 intentionally. And using the preset input, we can preset the output as 1 intentionally. Now let us try to understand the truth table. When J and K are both 0, first row shows, like when a clock is coming, then the output shows no change. When J is 1, K is 0, then the output becomes 1 when a clock is received. When J is 0, K is 1, then output becomes 0. The last case is very important. When J and K are both 1 and a clock appears, then instead of Q we get Q naught bar, that is toggles. What does this mean? It means that if the output was initially 0, it will become 1 now. And if the output was initially 1, it will become 0 now. So this is the working of the JK flip-flop. The next flip-flop is the D flip-flop. As you can see, it has a single input D. The truth table is really simple. When the value of D is 0, the output obtained is 0. And when the value of input is 1, the output obtained is 1. So it just transmits the input value to the output when the clock is received with a certain delay. And hence its name is delay flip-flop or D flip-flop. The last type of flip-flop is the T flip-flop. Here we have one input T. When T is 0, the value of Qt plus 1 is Qt. What does this mean? It means that the next state is going to be the same as the previous state. So there will be no change in the output. And when the value of T is 1, you can see Qt plus 1 becomes Qt bar. That is, the next state is going to be the complement of the previous state. That means initially if Q was 0 and the value of T is 1, then Q will become 1. And if initially Q was 0 and T is 1, then Q would become complemented. So the value of initial state is complemented in the next state when the value of T is 1. Let us now understand the concept of triggering. Now, you might have seen in the previous diagrams like we are providing a clock to the flip-flops. Here we are showing three methods in which clock is provided. In the first one, you can see simply a line is there attached to the block. It is written as clock. In the second diagram, you can see there is an extra triangle also drawn. So this is called edge triggering. Whenever we have edge triggering, we draw this triangle. And in the third figure, you can see apart from this triangle, we have a bubble or circle also. So this is also edge triggering, but it is negative edge triggering. And the first one is high level triggering, second is positive edge triggering, third one is negative edge triggering. Now, suppose we have high level triggering. So you can see the dark portion, that is the clock is coming when we are having high levels in the clock signal. Positive edge triggering means we assume that the clock is coming when the positive edge is encountered. And in negative edge triggering, we see the trigger is obtained or the clock is obtained when the negative edge of the clock pulse is encountered. So these are the types of triggering. Next, we see the master-slave JK flip-flop. As you can see, there are two JK flip-flops employed here. First one is the master flip-flop. Second one is the slave flip-flop. Now, you can clearly observe that the clock of the master flip-flop is complemented to give clock bar, which is provided to the slave flip-flop. So both the flip-flops have complemented clock signals. So both are not triggered at the same time. When master is working, slave is off. And when the slave is working, then master is off. And we can see how the arrangement is done. This is the basic structure of a master-slave JK flip-flop. Okay, now it's the quiz time. So we have two questions which you can explore yourself. First is you try to find out what is a latch and the difference between a latch and a flip-flop. And secondly, as we have seen what is master-slave JK flip-flop, you can find out what is the need. Why do we use a master-slave JK flip-flop? Thank you so much for attending the lecture. I hope the basic concepts of flip-flop are clear to all. If you have any doubts, you can post in the comment section. I would reply as soon as possible. Thank you so much.